everyone, this is Yaffi Lvova, registered dietitian nutritionist with Baby Bloom Nutrition, and today we're going to be talking about food addiction in kids. When should I end the meal? At what point should I end the meal? Is my child preoccupied with food? So first I want to start out by saying sorry for the delayed broadcast. I had some technological issues. So first thing, what makes you think your child is addicted to food? I've seen this recently in a lot of the mommy posts about children being preoccupied with food from as early as 12 months on, and I really want to talk about that. So first, let's talk about the women who are posting say their children are always hungry. They always seem hungry. They would eat until they ate everything in the house. There is no stopping them. Their appetites are insatiable. They eat so much. They seem preoccupied with food. Anytime they go to a play date, they are really just trying to get into the diaper bag to get another snack. They don't want to play with other kids because they see some food out and they really just want to eat. Okay, let's talk about the definition of addiction. Addiction is when you are enslaved to a habit or practice, something that is physically habit forming, and cessation of that activity causes severe trauma. So let's think of this as food, all right? Are you enslaved to eating regularly? Yes, we all are. Are you physically addicted? Are you dependent on eating multiple times a day? Yes. And is there a lot of trauma caused if you were to stop eating entirely? Yeah. So eating by for any of us fits the definition of addiction. And that's just to show you that this is really a ridiculous thing, that referring to food as an addiction is you're setting yourself up for failure, just because by its very nature eating is an addiction. If we didn't do it, we would die. And that's all of us, no matter your relationship with food. So we'll go from there. If you think that your child is eating too much, we need to take a step back. First, there is a disorder called Prader-Willi syndrome, but that is very rare. It's something to discuss with your doctor if you feel that there really is a problem. It is a rare condition, but it does happen, where your child just has no sense of when they're full and they keep going. For most kids, what's really happening is unanticipated caloric needs. And by unanticipated, I mean the parents. Parents don't understand exactly how many calories a child needs for development. So let's talk about that. From 6 months to about 12 months, the caloric needs are estimated at 90 to 120 calories per kilogram, which means that a 10-month-old who weighs 20 pounds needs somewhere between 820 and 1100 calories per day. If you're doing some of these diets that are really popular right now, that actually is more calories than you as the adult are consuming. I did a whole other nap time nutrition on what our calorie needs actually are, what our nutrition needs are, and how you really do need to eat more than that. But that's just to put it into perspective. Your child might be eating more than you. Let that sink in for a sec. Okay, so between 18 and 24 months, they need about 1,200 to 1,400 calories per day. From 4 to 6 years, they need 1,500 to 1,750 calories per day. And childhood caloric needs peak at age 9, where they need close to 2,000 calories per day. They are probably eating more than you. So let's just use that and put it in perspective. Your child needs a lot of calories in order to develop their motor skills, in order to develop their brain, in order to have appropriate development. They really do need a lot of nutrition. So what determines exactly how much your child needs? Your child does. Your kid was born with the ability to know when they're hungry and when they're full. Kids are not overeaters by nature. We teach them that. And the way we teach them that is by giving them a scarcity mentality. What does that mean? It means that they are afraid at any given moment that their snack or their meal that they are enjoying will be taken away from them because we as the adult decide that they've had too much. Think about this. When was the last time you actually measured yourself a bowl of cereal? I'm not advocating it. It's just an activity. Cereal has it doesn't have a regulated serving size. So one cereal will be half a cup, another cereal will be a full cup, another cereal will be 3/4 cup. And that doesn't mean anything. It's arbitrary. The cereal company just came up with that to make the nutrition label look the way that they want it to look, to make it attractive to you as the customer. So we as adults look at the bowl and think, how full is it? And we can compare that to how full our stomach feels or how empty our stomach feels and say, this is probably going to be roughly the amount that's going to fill us up. But we can't do that for our kids because it's difficult enough for us to do that for ourselves. How many times do you put, you fill your cereal bowl and maybe it's too much or maybe it's not enough and you go back for seconds? That's because we have our own mind connection with our stomach and we know how much is going to satisfy us. But we can't make those decisions for another human. Would you say of your friend, you're out to lunch with your friend, would you say, you've had enough? I think you're full. I think you had enough? No, because you don't know what's going on in her day. Maybe she didn't have breakfast. Maybe she's just having a really good time with that meal and she's really enjoying it. Okay, so the same with our kids. We don't really know what's going on. Maybe they didn't sleep so well the night before. Maybe they're having a really big developmental day where they have a lot going on and they need more calories. Maybe they're playing around a lot outside and they need more nutrition in order to make that up. Their caloric needs, I gave you some ranges, but truthfully it's going to vary from day to day, from hour to hour. And the truth is, I've talked about normal eating patterns. Sometimes they get to the end of the day and they think, oh, I had so much today, I don't actually need dinner, and they skip it, and that's normal. But my point is that your child and your child's biology will determine if they're hungry, how hungry they are, when they are full, and when they should stop. And when you as the adult determine when that meal should end, when that snack should end, and when that food should disappear from in front of your child, when you make that decision, it doesn't follow their biology. It doesn't teach them to listen to their hunger and satiety signals, and it actually teaches them to start overeating. They're going to be looking for food when it's not mealtime. They're going to be eating when they're not hungry because maybe it's going to disappear before they're done with it. So we really want to foster a healthy relationship with food for our kids by encouraging them to listen to those hunger and satiety signals, and the way that we can best do that is to not decide for them when they're done. And if they are not eating enough, according to you, you also need to look at that. They decide if they're hungry and when to stop. And I've covered that before. It's called division of responsibility. I've done other nap time nutritions on if you think your child isn't eating enough. So here's the thing. Here are some ground rules to lay down to maintain your sanity and also to maintain your child's healthy relationship with food. Have a schedule. Make sure meals are between 2 and 3 hours apart. Not less than that, not more than that. Because if it's too much, if it's more than 3 hours apart, they're going to get hungry, they're going to get cranky, and you're going to have some behavior issues on your hands. And they're not going to be able to really gauge their hunger because at that point they're getting into they'll be distracted by their own behavior. If it's sooner than 2 hours, if you have a situation where you're snacking all day, it never allows them an opportunity to develop a full appetite. And when we say, as professionals, when we say that children can meet their own nutrition needs over the course of a few days, that assumes that they've had an appetite for a full meal and have been given a variety of different types of food throughout those few days. So you really want to give them the opportunity to get an appetite for a meal. So between 2 and 3 hours, no grazing. Avoid food bribes. I posted something earlier today about using food as a reward or as an incentive. You don't want to do that because it's going to teach them to prioritize one food over the other, or it's going to teach them to eat when they're not hungry, and that's not really the message that we want to send to them. So in the end, the summary of this talk, when should you end the meal? You shouldn't end the meal. The child is in charge of telling you when they're full. And you can talk to your child about it depending on the age. I mean, not a 15-month-old, but when your child gets to be 3, 4, 5 years old, you can say on a scale of 1 to 10, how full is your belly? Here's a picture of a stomach. Take this crayon and color in how full your belly is. And that helps to teach them mindfulness. It helps to teach them to be in contact with their body and to communicate with their body to determine how much food they should be eating. Because the truth is, their body is smarter than any diet out there. Their body is smarter than textbooks, because we really just have this hard and fast data, and it's so much more variable than that, depending on the factors that I had discussed. So there you go. Don't end the meal. Your child determines how much food they need, and they stop when they're full. And that the best thing you can do is to allow their biology to dictate when the meal ends. So if you want to hear more, if you're a new mom and you're in the local Phoenix, Gilbert area, I'm giving a workshop a week from today at Momplex, and that's on nutrition for the new mom and food introduction. So come learn about how you can take care of yourself while taking care of a baby, and how you can introduce food in a safe and appropriate way that helps to maintain your sanity. That's like my whole platform. Watch Naptime Nutrition. I'm here every week on Tuesday at 1 o'clock Arizona time, which is currently noon on the West Coast and 3 p.m. on the East Coast, but we don't change clocks here, so watch for that. Come to Toddler Test Kitchen if you're local. We've been having a lot of fun. Yesterday we made a grapefruit avocado salsa and homemade tortilla chips, and that was awesome. And come follow me on Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook, and I have a Save My Sanity program coming up, which is Nutritional Confidence for Busy Parents. It's a 3-week Facebook-based course from the comfort of your own home. It's a combination of private and small group counseling, and I will guide you through getting more confident with your nutrition choices. And we'll talk about selective eating, budgeting, and how to organize your pantry, and a lot of other really good stuff, lots of recipes and meal planning. So come join me for that. Email me or join my newsletter to find out more about that. And always look at my website, babybloomnutrition.com/events, to see what I have coming up. So I am always open to suggestions for topics, and I will see you next week. Thanks.